Welcome. On behalf of Australian Advocacy for Good Governance in Sri Lanka, I welcome you to this discussion. Our non-profit organization comprises members and an advisory body of diverse ethnic and academic backgrounds. We aim to raise awareness about the lack of democracy, accountability, and good governance in Sri Lanka, particularly due to its executive presidential system. We wish to positively contribute to the restoration of democracy and rule of law in Sri Lanka, while respecting the rights and will of all its peoples. Advocating good governance means dealing with many complex issues. The main issues that inhibit democratic rights of Sri Lankan people at present are the concentration of governmental and economic powers in the hands of a single family, the detrimental influence of the executive president over the judiciary, and the militarization and politicization of the civil administration. Economic mismanagement, corruption, the breakdown of law and order, and the ever-dwindling relations with the ethnic minorities are other major issues that are besetting the country. We sincerely hope the emerging United People's action would create a political environment that is conducive to addressing these national issues Sri Lanka is facing today. Good governance enables the functioning of democratic systems that include independent judiciary, free media, and free and fair elections. A system of good governance also plays a critical role in strengthening stability and security in the country, advocating transparency and accountability, and building capacity at all levels of society. Lack of good governance over the past 6 decades has been one of the major factors that gave rise to insurgencies in the south and the north of Sri Lanka. For this not to repeat in future, there is an urgent need to recognize the inalienable rights of all members of the society and encourage practicing of good governance in the country. In a democratic setup, the government is accountable to the people, but this accountability has been very rare in Sri Lanka. Politicians have to sacrifice not for their personal glory or for crowning their dynastic successors, but to help the Sri Lankan people attain real prosperity. The Constitution of Sri Lanka is expected to protect rights to liberty, due process of law, freedom of movement, freedom of thought, freedom of religion, freedom of expression, right to peaceably assemble, freedom of association, and free exercise of conscience. However, this is not the reality in Sri Lanka, where most of us were born and bred. Politicians and bureaucrats appear to exercise power illegitimately in ways that interfere with these fundamental rights and freedoms. Governments need to empower people rather than marginalizing them. People should no longer be subjects, but they should be active participants. People need to be at the center of development process. All people in Sri Lanka, including its ethnic and religious minorities, should have the right to participate meaningfully in governance processes and influence decisions affecting them. And inclusive growth, that is, people's involvement in the decision-making process of all development schemes, is crucial for resolving socio-economic issues equitably. Past experiences of the presidential elections show us that if pressure is not exerted continuously on whoever comes to power, there is a high probability that the new regime could backtrack on what it had already pledged during the election campaign. Therefore, we need to carry on with our advocacy campaign beyond the impending election. We are going to be in this campaign for the long haul. We invite you to join this campaign, get actively involved in spreading this message, and positively contributing to the campaign for the restoration of democracy and rule of law in Sri Lanka. Our mission is to promote the need for good governance in Sri Lanka. We need to encourage a rational debate so that the ill-advised, less informed, and undecided constituents will make an informed choice when choosing Sri Lanka's head of state and its political system. Sri Lanka deserves good governance and responsive to the will of its peoples. We believe we can make a meaningful contribution to this end. Thank you very much.